Hey, how's it going? So, I got a couple things I want to talk about today. Mostly just what's been going on in the schools, actually. My son came home again today. Trying to take him to Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And on the way there, he says, what is Albania? I said, it's a country. And he says, oh, well, Russia is shooting Ukraine. I said, what? He says, yeah, Russia is being bad and not nice to Ukraine, and they're shooting them. I said, who told you this? And he says, oh, Miss Hill at school. Holy crap, man. Like now, they're telling him, a 6-year-old, okay? A 6-year-old about the war in Ukraine and how Russia is all bad and they're being not nice to Ukraine. I'm like, holy crap, man. Like, you can't. Yesterday, I find out they're telling him about how he's a colonizer. And, not yesterday. I find this out about last week, actually. And now, I want him to go to school and tell his teacher that he's, 25% Ukrainian and see what she says to that if she still says he's a white kid, And I'm like... Because to me, I'm like, how can you blame a 6-year-old for anything, anything that happened anytime? Obviously, it had nothing to do with anything, and it's not going to be blamed for it. But that's just like a long string of things that I keep finding out. Today, he gets off the bus, and he says, Mommy, is the Freedom Convoy nice? Was the Freedom Convoy nice? And she says, yeah. And he turns around and tells the bus driver, I told you they were nice. Apparently, he stopped at a red light and seen a car with flags and said, oh, Freedom Convoy, I like them. And the bus driver said, oh, they're not nice. And my son said, yes, they are. And he said, nope, they're not nice. They're not nice people. And he said, okay. And when he got off the bus, that's why he asked my wife, is the Freedom Convoy nice? Are they nice people? My wife says, yes. He says, told you, and got off the bus. I'm like, good job, buddy. I'm like, but the bus driver is going to argue with a 6-year-old? I'm like, first of all, he had no say on whether or not we went to the Freedom Convoy. He's 6 years old. He had no opinion on whether or not I took him as the parents of him. It's our fault whether or not he wanted to go or whether or not he went to the convoy or not. Second of all, he had a great time and every person there was nice as hell to him and he'll tell you the same thing. So to try to tell him that they weren't nice, he's smarter than that. And he's not going to listen to you when you try to tell him that stuff. Because it's nonsense and he was there and he'll tell you firsthand that they were all very nice to him. So good luck with that anyway. I have a meeting on Thursday with the teacher, and I don't know how that's going to go because I have a list of things I'm going to talk to her about, and I'm not understanding why they think that he's mature enough at 6 years old to be hearing half the stuff that they want to present him with. It's so ridiculous to tell him, for him to understand what a residential school is, or that, because of the color of his skin, why he's a bad person. He does not understand this. He, first of all, has never seen he doesn't understand what a difference of color in skin even means. He goes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'll tell you, there's every color and nationality in that school, and I love it. That's why he goes there, because this is Canada. We are very multicultural, if you haven't noticed, and racism does not run rampant in this country. So to judge my son because he's white and tell him that he's a problem is racism, any which way you want to look at it. And so far we haven't pulled the Ukrainian card because my son is, a quarter Ukrainian. My wife's half Ukrainian. And we haven't pulled that card yet because it's ridiculous to even try to think, that he should get special treatment because of this. That's not what I think at all. At all. But maybe it might just get him out of being ridiculed at school. I don't know. Like, I don't know what kinds of things they're telling him, but he is terrified and has nightmares now, like on and off for the last probably 3 weeks about residential schools. Keeps asking me if he's going to have to go to residential school. Now, of course, all of that stuff is an atrocity. It's so ridiculous that it even happened. Of course, like, nobody denies that. I'm not denying it happened. I'm not denying it was bad. I'm not denying who did it. All I'm saying is that my son does not need to be blamed for it. Now, you can blame me all you want. You know, I can take it. I have thick skin. I'm 35 years old. No problem. Blame me if you want. You know, if you want to judge me by the color of my skin and tell me that I am the problem, then you can go ahead and do that. I have thick skin, like I said. No problem. But you're not going to sit there and judge my son by the color of his skin and tell him he did something wrong. That is wrong. You do not treat kids like this. I can't wait to go into the school on Thursday and talk to the teacher, because this is getting out of hand. I have to, every day, I have to explain to my son that you are smart, buddy, and you can think for yourself, and you don't listen to anybody, including Daddy. Daddy's opinion is Daddy's opinion. The teacher's opinion is the teacher's opinion. And you're a smart boy, and you need to make up your own opinion. Now, when we're talking about war with Russia and colonization and things like this nature, I don't think that my 6-year-old son needs to hear it at all. I don't think he's old enough nor mature enough to even comprehend what you're trying to tell him. Now, me at 35, I can take whatever you want to tell me. No problem. I understand, and it's very important lessons that people need to understand in history that this happened, so that it never happens again. Because that's the way you learn from history. But you don't teach that to a 6-year-old child. I don't care what your motive is, or your opinion, or anything else. That's fine. You're welcome to your opinion. But you don't bring those opinions to school and teach them to my son, who's 6. It's ridiculous. He simply is not morally there enough, and he just can't comprehend the kinds of things that you're trying to teach him. And you should, as a teacher, understand these things, I think. So this is what I'm going to have to explain to the teacher, because this is my opinion, right? These are my thoughts from my shed. This is, again, it's my opinion. My opinions only. But she's going to hear them if she wants to express her opinions to my son about war and about, you know, other things that I would not bring up to my 6-year-old son yet. Okay? He can learn these things, no problem. I'm not against him learning all history, the atrocities that happen so that they never happen again, and also the good things, you know? I don't understand why they think that he can comprehend these things when he's 6 years old. The other book that I was thinking of, and which is probably a great book, and I have to go to the school and complain to the teacher about her reading this book to my son. It's called Stolen Words. It's about a young girl who asks her grandfather why he can't speak his native language. And of course, everyone should learn this at some point. Maybe, you know, maybe when they're 10, 12. I don't know what the age is. But I do know that my son cannot comprehend these things. These concepts are way too big for his brain to wrap around, and all he hears about is the bad things, and thinks that those things are now going to happen to him. So when you're talking about war and about colonization and about, you know, atrocities that happen to the human race, everybody, because this has happened, you know, many, many, many times before, and not just now. Like, when the colonizers got here, it wasn't just all peace and games. Everybody was warring over land here, there, and everywhere. Okay, and so were they over in Europe. Everybody was warring. That's the human race, are a bunch of as a group, we're a bunch of idiots. You know, we're absolutely retarded as a group. The human race is pretty damn stupid. All we do is war with each other, but this is everywhere. And if you want to say, like, okay, the whole race thing I don't understand to begin with anyway. Because how far back do you want to go? If you want to go far enough back, we're all from Africa, correct? So why do you want to stop at 100 years or 200 years or 300 years ago and tell me I'm Scottish? Because 300 years ago, my family lived in Scotland. Well, I know nothing about Scotland. Nothing. I know about Canada because I was born, raised, and won't live here. Won't leave here. Okay? I know about Canada, and I am Canadian, and that's it. You know, if you want, like, how does anybody know that my family from Scotland or England didn't come from North America to Scotland or England and then back? How the hell do you know? People moved all over this earth all the time. That's what they did. People moved around. Like, to tell, all I know for sure is that I did not immigrate here. My father did not immigrate here. My mother, you know, we're Canadians, just like every other Canadian. And if you're gonna proudly wave the flag, I will call you a brother of mine, because we're all Canadians here. It's absolutely ridiculous to judge anybody by the color of their skin, no matter the color of that skin. Like, and any other opinion is racism. Like, I don't get, you can't blame somebody for something they didn't do, especially if they're 6. Now, I can take your blame, like I said. If you're gonna blame me for something that 4 generations ago did, okay, I got thick skin and I'll take it. And I can understand that you're ignorant and you don't understand real history, and I can take it and walk away. No problem. No worries at all. However, I'm not gonna let nobody tell my son that he's a bad person because of the color of his skin. Okay? It seems pretty simple to me. My son does not recognize the color of your skin being a difference in you. He sees a human being just like him. And I would love it for it to stay like that. And if it wasn't for these schools teaching him about the division between people, he wouldn't know this. He still wouldn't know this. Now he comes home and understands that there's people that are native to this land, and then there's him. Which is absolutely ridiculous. He's 6 years old and lived in one house in Canada his whole life. To tell him he's not native to this land is absolutely ridiculous. Because now you are blaming him for things that happened 4, 5, 6 generations before him for the color of his skin. And how some people don't recognize that this is racism, this is division, this is people dividing us by whichever way is necessary, they believe, I guess. Then you're being ignorant too, and you don't understand history. You can stop your ancestry wherever you want. It doesn't really matter. What matters is what you do, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, public school. Like, I'm getting ready to pull him out of this public school and try to spend whatever money I need to spend to get him in private school, because this is getting absolutely ridiculous. Every day he comes home, it seems, with something new that I gotta explain to him that he basically shouldn't know about. And it's so ridiculous to me how anybody could teach this to a kid that's 6 years old, regardless. Like, yes, they need to learn these things. At 6, not a chance. Not a chance. Let them grow up a little bit. Let them have an imagination and not know about these things yet. Grow up with every kid in their class being every color and not knowing the difference. Like, why can't we just let that happen? You know? Anyway, I think I've gone on long enough about this. We'll see what happens Thursday. I'll probably do a live after that, because I'm going to try to keep my calm when I go in there, but it's going to be hard. But I guess I have to. Alright, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Freedom!